Hey guys, Mike Shamon here, and I just wanted to say thanks for checking out the video. And right now I'm just going to go through this quick Avada website that I made and go through this tutorial, but I just want to show you the website first. So I'm using Revolution slider. I didn't use any buttons or welcome text there, but I could have. But this is just the website that we built. Rollovers, carousel. Just a quick learn more about Dr. Shepard, request an appointment, and some blog post here, and then the footer there with the social links. So this was the quick and simple website that we built. It's 5 pages: home, about, services, news, contact, and it has the social media integrations. Um, this website took less than 2 hours to build, and you can do it simply as well. So without further ado, let's get into the tutorial, and thanks for watching. One other thing I want to let you guys know about is this digital guide I have, 3 tips for making WordPress websites quickly. And in the guide, it basically teaches some techniques and strategies that will have you making WordPress websites extremely fast. And actually in this tutorial video that you're about to watch, I actually go over most of these tips, not necessarily point them out to you, but I do use what it is in the guide to create these websites quickly. So I just want to let you know about that. The link will be in the description. So I hope you guys check it out. Alright, let's get into the video. Alright guys, Mike Shamon here, and I'm going to walk you through on how to do this install theme to WordPress and make a WordPress website. So let's get started. I got my fresh WordPress install going on here. What I'm going to do is I want to get my theme going. So I'm going to go over to Theme Forest where I purchased the Avada theme. I'm going to go download all files and documentations, and once you download that, you can go to show in folder, and it will take you to where your download is. And then once you get it, you can unzip it, okay, and then it'll come out to this Avada full package, okay. And once you click on that, there's a bunch of different folders. You just go to Avada theme. Alright, and then this brings you to the zip files of Avada and Avada child theme. So you will need both these files. Okay, so you go back to your WordPress, you're going to go to Appearance, Themes, you're going to go to Add New, Upload Theme, Folder. Alright, and I'm going to open up the Avada theme, Install Now. Alright, Activate. Alright, and this one say I need these plugins, but we're not done yet. I'm just going to go back to Appearance. I'm going to go back to Themes, and I'm going to go to Add New, Upload Theme, and I'm going to upload the child theme, install the child theme, and activate that child theme. Now you want to be sure you activate the child theme and install the child theme, because this is how you're going to make your changes and not lose your changes when the theme gets updated. Okay, the theme gets updated a lot. The developers are on top of it because it's a great theme to use. It's the most popular theme on Theme Forest. So you want to make sure you install your child theme always, and always make sure that's the active theme. Okay, because if it's not, then you're going to be making changes on the regular theme, and when you go to update the regular theme, you will lose your changes that you made. But we're going to go back in here to themes, and we're going to go to delete these themes. Unused themes and plugins could be vulnerable to attack, especially when they're not updated. So we're just going to delete all the ones we don't need. We're going to go back to plugins, and there's a few on here since we installed through Bluehost that we don't need. We definitely don't need these, and I don't use the Jetpack, so let's delete all those. Now we're going to go back to Avada up here, and we're going to go to Fusion Patcher. And actually, let me go to Manage Plugins first. Okay, we're going to install the Fusion Core because there will be patches that will need to be applied to these most often. Now everything's not like this. This is only the Avada theme, and this is these options are only available with Avada. So you want to have these options if you have a different theme. Okay, this is a cool one, white label. You can install this and do make this your own branding and stuff like that. Now you want to make sure you register your copy. So when you go to registration, it says please enter your token for registration. So if you don't know how to create a token, it's right here, okay? But I have my token. I'm not going to put it in right this very second. Actually, there it is. So we'll put it in right there. Alright, now my product's registered. I'll go back to plugins, install one plugin, at least from right here, and that's going to be Slider Revolution. Alright, and you can activate all these other plugins if you wanted to, if you need to use them. If you're not using them, don't activate them. I'm guessing this is already, alright, there it is. Let's activate that. Alright, so that's activated. And now we're going to go to Fusion Patcher. Apply patch for Fusion Builder. They just came out with a new version of Avada, so that's why this probably doesn't have as much patches as the other ones does. Okay, and those patches are applied. So there's one other plugin I'm going to install, and it is a plugin called Gravity Forms. Install Contact Form 7 if you would like. This is the form plugin that I recommend. It's much more easier to use than Contact Form 7. It blows it out of the water. Alright, so I have my form plugin installed now, but I also want to install one more plugin, and that is a bulk page creator. I'm just going to go to plugin, add new, bulk page creator. Alright, this is this one. And then I'm just going to go to, it ends up going underneath settings. And then if you just go to settings, bulk page creator. And then I'm just going to make the pages about services, contact. Just a simple website. Alright, I'm just going to do create empty pages, and note there's no space between the commas here if you are using this plugin, and you can just read this direction right here. I'm just going to go to update site, and it updates all those. And now I can go to permalinks, and I'm just going to go to post name, save changes. Okay, I'm just going to go to general. This is where you can start doing your SEO stuff if you need it to be. Okay, that filled in. Oh, you know what I meant to do? I meant to add a blog page too. So I'm going to go to a blog. This can also be called news. I'm just going to call it news because for a doctor website it seems a little bit better than blog. But so now we go to the writing tab, and that's fine. Go to the reading tab, and you want to make this a static page. Your home page should be home, and your post page should be news. And I'm just going to go to save. Go discussion, and I'm not going to go to anyone can post a comment. I'm not going to do that. Save changes. And we are good there. So then I'm just going to go to menus, go to appearance menus, be main menu, and we will go to view all, and I just go select all except for the top two, which are pages we don't need. Put contact. Alright, and now I'm just going to go to pages. All pages. We're going to delete the sample page. So now, if we just go to our site, see what it looks like. It should have the Avada logo still. Copyrights there. This is the home page. Okay, so everything's default still. Now, Avada has demos that you can download, but I don't suggest doing that because it changes a lot of stuff, and you don't know where to change stuff when you want to change it. So it's best to just mimic the demo and then go from there. So now we can start adding different things like logos and text and elements and start building the website. So now that we kind of have the foundation set for everything, now we can just go into Avada and theme options, and we have to set the logo and some of the other different stuff that is associated with the website. So when you come to the Avada theme options, this is what they call the Fusion Builder, and there's a lot of different options in here, and there's a lot of different stuff you can go through. Now, I don't know every single option and what everything does. Now, I mean, I know what most of them do. The thing is that it takes trial and error, and takes you wanting to do something and then trying to implement that to learn how to do the thing that you need to accomplish. So, you know, these options can all be set to whatever you want them to be, and it can be your own website. So, but this is just generally kind of what I do. So I usually go with the wide layout. As you go, site width, 1200 pixels I do. And then some of these options are new. This box mode, offset, scroll mode, I just leave it the same. If I don't really know something, then I kind of leave it the same. And then as I'm making the website, if something needs to be changed, I'll come back in and I'll change it if I realize this is what I need to change. So I usually just do this content padding. I just put both these at 0 because sometimes it messes up your spacing on different things. 30 padding, 30%, 30 pixel padding on the 100% width padding setting. So that's when you have a wide layout, and saying 30 pixels is the margin on that. And then for the single sidebar, I do 26% just because 23% kind of squishes it in there. And I just go to save. Alright, now I'm going to go to logo, and it's going to ask you where you want your logo at. So, and usually with the spacing, actually I usually do 5 pixels up, 5 pixels down. Alright, so let's upload our logo now. Just hit remove on the Avada logo here, and then just drag and drop your logos into place. Those aspects of making a logo. Go and drop all 3 there. Use that as his logo, and this is saying a retina size, so I would double the size of it, and then I would make the logo fit the specifications of double the size. So it's asking here, select an image for your logo, and then saying retina default logo. So select an image for the retina version of logo. It should be exactly twice the size of the main logo. This is for people viewing on big screens and big desktop screens, so they don't have a low resolution quality image there when somebody flashes it up on a 50-foot or 50-inch widescreen TV there. Okay, so I have them all loaded up, and what I'm just going to do now is save. I'm just going to go to Favicon now, right here underneath logo, and then this is why I made those other things, and I can just upload this one because it's all the same dimension there, so form down to that, and then the Apple icon logo. Okay. Alright, so now just save changes, and now you'll see your favicon and the logo be different on the website. Let's take a refresh here. It might be a little bit big, the logo. Oh, there it goes, perfect. Alright, cool. Let's go ahead and change this footer down right here. And what you just do is you just go to footer, and I'm just going to say copyright 2018 Dr. Shepard. Alright, save changes. And now, if you go back and you go to refresh, there it is. Alright, now we need our menu to be up here, so let's do that. So this one will go to appearance and menus. And when we were working on the menu before, we didn't set where to put it. So we're just going to go main navigation, and we go to save. And if we go back to our website and we reload, there is our menu. Now there's a few things about this I don't like. Okay, see this padding on the bottom here? That's off. There's way more padding on the bottom than there is on the top. And this is just the basic fonts, this little search icon, which I don't like at all unless you have an extensive website. So I'm going to go and change some of these things. So let's go back to our Avada theme options. All right, and we're going to go to header. All right, and then this is our header styling. So you can do any one of these headers that you'd like. And actually, I want to change the header style from that to this. Okay, and then I'm going to do, if you have a slider, you pick your position. Now it's asking you header content 1, header content 2. What is that? So if you look at these, you see that this one has social media icons here, and it has phone number here. That'd be contact info, and this would be social media. So if you go and scroll down here, social links, contact info, navigation, or leave empty. Those are your choices there for header content 1, which is on the left side there. So this also means you can make a new menu and put the menu in the header, like right here. See, this one has menu, home, about us, FAQ, context. When you have a lot of pages, it makes sense to do something like that. If you have like a membership website, it makes sense to do something like that. If you don't have very many pages, I wouldn't do that. I would stick with the regular contact info there. Anyways, you can position these any way you like. I'm just going to go contact info on one side and then social links on the other side. And this is where you just put your phone number here, call us today, and then you put your email address here, and it will automatically make this an email link for you. Now, if you want to get fancy and make this a click to call button, what you would have to do is just insert a little bit of HTML. And that'll just be this code right here. Tell with a colon, and that, and in that quotation there. Now this is just for a phone number, okay? So, all right, and then go save changes. Now when we refresh our page now, it's going to have this phone number here. It's going to be a click to call link, okay? And then it's going to have the email address there as well. And then it will have a green bar. All right, and let's go refresh. And there it is, okay? And as you can see, the spacing increased on this. Now, why would the spacing increase on that? Well, if we go back to our theme options, okay, and you go to logo, the logo margins has changed since we changed. Remember, we did 5 and 5. Well, we changed the header type, so the header type recognizes the default logo margins. Okay, so you have to change those again. Okay, everything else is the same. Save changes. Now we go to refresh, and there it is. But there's still some differentiating margins right there. If you look, you can see. Now, there's a couple ways you can do this. So if you're not very technical on the web, let me just show you. Okay, so I'm using the Google Chrome browser. I recommend Google Chrome or Firefox. In Firefox it's called Firebug, and Google it's just inspect. Okay, so I right-clicked it, and I went to inspect. Okay, now it highlights this element that I right-clicked on. Okay, that's the logo. Now as you can see, that is the complete logo. So the padding around that is not going to change. Whatever in the blue is not going to change. That's the logo image. Okay, everything outside of the blue is padding. So you can see at the top there's a very thin white line. That's the 5 pixels padding that's supposed to be there. Now below that is padding that is not supposed to be there. Alright, and you can see here that there's some different sizes. Okay, if you scroll down, you can kind of see what everything is. So that's the logo, padding, margin. Okay, so you have to find out what is this. So if you go inspect, you see, oh, okay, this whole header is controlled by one height. Now if you look at it over here, you can kind of see, this is where you kind of got to be, you don't have to know code, but you just kind of got to look and think like somebody who would be doing something like this. Okay, you can tell it's somewhere in the menu. Okay, it's somewhere in the menu, it's in the header. So if we go to theme options, you go to header, Okay, nothing there says you can change it. If you go to header styling, this comes up. Okay, deals with header padding, header width, header shadow. But where would you go to change that? If you go to menu, what happens there? This is where you would change that at. Okay. If you go to this main menu height, controls the menu height, to match the logo, set the height to 135 pixels. Alright, so it's saying to set the logo height, set to 135. So I'm just going to 135 and save changes. And let's see. So it matches the same height of the logo, but it's way off. So what's the deal? Well, it added the padding for the logo, plus the logo. So what you have to do is you have to go back. And what was it at 84? 84 was a little bit too high. We're just going to go to 60. Actually, I think we should probably be at 65. But let's see. Alright, there it is. Nice and tight and centered. Let's see. Yeah. See that? The heading on the top and the bottom are the same. Alright. So one of the things I do like to do is make this a wide header. So I would just go to the header spot and go to header styling and go to that 100% width on, and I'll go to save changes. Okay, and that will make this whole thing wide. Alright. And this has to do with that 30 pixel padding, remember that? That's what that padding is right here. And this has the logo there, so I'll have to go into the document. If you look, I left padding here, I didn't bring it all the way over to the edge. Alright, so let's continue on with stylizing this, okay? Let's go to the menu. I want to get that search button off the menu. So if I go to menu, just ask me some questions here. Okay, you can go to the highlight style. So right now it's a bar. See this little bar above the home here? Okay, you can switch to an arrow or you can switch to background. Alright, I'm just going to switch to background. Actually, I'm going to switch to, yeah, we'll switch to background. And we can make it any color we want. What I'm going to do is I'm going to match it up with this color right here, blue. So I have a little color picker. I'm just going to go to color picker and pick color from page. There. And it copies to my clipboard. And I'm just going to go, bam, there it is. Alright. And then it's going to ask me for the padding of the menu. This is the padding in between links right here, in between menu items. I usually set that around 35. No drop shadow, or main menu drop shadow. So when there's a menu that drops down, is there a drop shadow on that? And then the drop down width. I like to put this around 230, 250, especially if you have longer drop down menu items. Alright, and padding, drop down divider on. Alright, drop down main menu search icon off. Okay. And then just ask me about the drop down menus. We'll get to that if I want a drop down menu. Alright, now it's asking me about the font family. I'm just going to do something simple like Open Sans. Okay, and I'm going to make it 18 pixels so people can see it. And then it's asking me, what's the font hover cover? Okay, so the main menu highlight style is blue. The font hover cover is green. The drop down font color is black. So we don't have to worry about that. But let's just go see. Save our changes, refresh. Alright, so that's what it looks like with the background on it. And actually, you see this right here? See this spacing here? So now that I see that, you know what? I don't even want the background color to be blue. I just want it to be white, and I want the text to be blue. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go to main menu font hover color. I'm going to make that blue. And actually what I do is go to my color picker and copy the clipboard, my color. Okay, so the font color is going to be blue when it hovers over. I'm just going to go to bar and you go to 0 if you don't want anything to happen. So now then, let's do that. Save. Alright, there, that looks a lot better. Alright, now I'm going to change the top bar here. So you can go to theme options. And one of the things about theme options here is you can just go to layout, or actually you go to colors, and change this color to blue. And that may change a lot of things for you, or whatever your primary color is. So I bet that changed that. Did it? Let's see. Nope. Alright, so let's change that header. And actually, I think that's under header styling. Header top background color. Change that to that. Okay. If you want to change the border color. And this is the header background color. So that's white. So that would change this color right here of this. Okay, if you want any padding, header shadow off. And let's go to save changes. Okay. And there we go, the header is blue. Now let's make this text white. Alright, so we go to menu, and you can go to secondary top menu. Okay, yeah, here it is. Secondary menu font size, we're just going to put it at 16 pixels. The font color, we're going to do white. And I won't even worry about these unless you have menus there. Then you can change those colors accordingly. So we go save, and there it is. Okay. Now you might be saying, where's the social media links at? So let's go get the social media links, okay? We are going to go in the Avada theme options. We're going to go to social media. Alright, so the social media icons. So you choose your Facebook link or whatever link you may want, and you put your link in there. Okay, which would just be copying and pasting the URL. You just go add. Then you can do Instagram. Right, add all those, hit save. Alright, now I'm going to go to header icons. So now that we added those links, they will be there. Okay, so there they are. Now we go to the header icons, header social icons, and this is where you can change the style of them. So I want them to be a little bit bigger, so I'm just going to go to 20 pixels. Alright, and then it's asking me that, actually I'm going to go to 16 to make it equivalent with the fonts I have there. Header social icon. Alright, and then you can choose if you want custom colors or brand colors. I'm just going to go custom colors. I can just make these all white. And then if you want them in boxes or not. I don't want them in boxes, so let's go save. They should get a little bit larger and turn white. Alright, and there they are. Now if we put our real links in there, they would link right now to your proper social media channel. Alright, but let's continue on to the home page. Okay, as you can see, it put them down here in the footer as well, which we can change those too in the footer tab, but we'll wait until we do that. But let's get this home page down. What I want to do is I want to put a big slider in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to slider revolution. Okay, and I'm just going to go to new slide. And there's a lot of different options here, and this whole plugin itself is video really, but just some basic stuff right now is I'm just going to enter the name of the slider here. Home slider 1. This one's no slices or no spaces. Alright, standard slider. Again, you can choose a lot of different options. This is what I'm going with right now. And then I choose this one, 1920 by, we'll go 900. Alright, and let's go save settings. And again, you can do a lot of different things. I'm just going to go to main image background, media library. Alright, that's been added. Okay, I'm going to go to save slide. Okay. And then I'm going to go to Actually, I'm going to start editing this page. So you can just go to Pages, All Pages. You can go to Edit for Home. I'm going to go to Use Fusion Builder. And actually, you don't have to do that right now, but just do that. And then we'll go down here to Fusion Page Options. Okay. And we're going to go to Sliders, Slider Type, Slider Revolution. Select the slider that you want. And then you choose the position of the slider and any other options you want. And then you can go to Page. Actually, you go to Page Title Bar. Okay. Now the Page Title Bar is this right here, this Home thing. Okay, so we don't want that on the home page. So I'm just going to go to Page Title Bar, Hide. Right, and then I'm just going to go to Update. So now you can see that slider revolution is in there. And if I go to refresh, it should have my slide up there. There's my slide. And you can see there's a drop shadow on the header there, and there it is. So we have a slide in place now. Now one of the things I want to do also is back here on the home page inside the Fusion Builder. I'm going to go to Template, 100% width. Alright, then we can start building our site. So what I like to do after I have that section there is I go to Container. Okay, let me show you that again. Okay, this is the Fusion Builder. I'm just going to go Container, add a container, a 1-1. And then I'm just going to put a text box here. And put welcome to Dr. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is just center that, and I'm going to put it on an H1 tag. And if this is all you get, you can use this toolbar toggle, and that'll come down and give you other options there. Alright, so what I want to do is I actually want this to be a white text, okay? And I'm doing this like this, but you can also do this just by code. Alright, so I have white text there. Okay, I saved it. And now what I want to do is I want to make this a blue background. So I'm just going to go blue background, go back and color pick my blue background there. Okay. Save and update. Okay, and there it is. Now, as you can see, the text is way off again. If I go to inspect this, the text is way off. Okay, there's padding there, and there's other, see that right there. So now we have to find out how can we make this look better. So if we go back to our Avada theme options, okay, and I just open those in a new tab. We can come down here to typography. Okay, and then we can change our body typography, which I'm just going to go with Open Sans. Okay, and this is for the body text. So remember, we put that text in an H1 heading. We'll change that in just a second, but first this is the body text. I usually do 18 on the text, and I usually change the color to be a little bit darker, 333, which is actually the default of this link color. Okay. So save that, and then headers typography. Alright, and you can just change to whatever you want your heading text to be. I'm just going to go basic Open Sans again. Okay, and then I'm going to change my line height because it's a little bit big, so that might be one of the issues. Line height to 1. I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger, 38 pixels. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the same thing for these. So when I need to use them, I can. All right. So I'm just going to do H1, H2, H3 for right now. You can do the other ones. All right. So now let's just see what happened here. So I refresh my page. The spacing is still there. So now we can just go back to the page, and maybe there's some spacing on this that we don't know about, or you didn't know about at least. Let's find out. Column spacing is between columns. No. Center content. Okay. Does that say anything? Nope. Let's go to design. Background color. Nope. Nope. Padding. Okay. You can change the padding there if you want. So if you would look at, we have a lot of bottom padding, so we need to change the bottom padding. All right. But is it padding or margin? Well, that's where, again, if you go to inspect, you can see what it is here. Scroll down. Okay, so the borders are yellow, the margins are this orange color, and padding would be green. So if we go around here, you see what color that is right there? That's orange. Okay. You see what color that is? That's orange. So it has to do with margin. Alright, so if we go back to this edit page here, margin. So leave empty for default value of 0 and 20 pixels. So that's where the extra pixels are coming in at. So you just go 0 pixels, save and update. All right, there she is. All right, so there's the first part of the page of what you're going to see. All right, so now that we have the first part of our website built, we'll continue on to the second part. But just let me know that any of these parts can change at any time, so just whatever you want. Okay, so this looks a little bit big to me right now, so I might end up changing it later depending on what pictures we have to choose from. So just keep that in mind, that nothing's static. You can change it. Okay, what goes underneath here? So, you know, we can put 4 pictures up, we can put a doctor bio, we can put a doctor picture bio, we can put a new patient special, we can put something about the dentistry, we can put whatever we want. So I'm just going to go with probably doctor picture and bio just to start, and then new container. And there's a lot of options for Avada, like there's a lot of stuff. These are just like templates for the sections, so I'm just going to do half and half. And you know, I can do a whole video in itself just on the builder and the options that it has, but the thing is that there's just way too many options, and it would be a way long video if I went through all the different options for containers and elements and that. So if you want to learn about those things, let me know in the comments below, and I'll do some videos on those if there's enough comments on them. So now that we got our 2 columns here, I'm just going to do, what you could do is, I'm going to use some filler text just to put like a brief doctor bio in here. Okay, and just copy the text that I want. I'm going to go element. I'm going to search for text. Okay, and this is a new feature right here. So number of inline columns. I really hasn't messed with that much. So this is a new feature, but it seems like you can do different columns instead of using the container layout to make 2 columns with text. You can do it in the text block now, which makes things a lot easier, but I'm just going to use it as is. I'm just going to go and paste my text into the text layer, and then I switch back to visual. I put in the text layer in case there's any code or anything like that. That's just a habit that I do, because if you put in the text layer, it will delete all the styles associated with it. So when you come to the visual tab, it'll look fine. Alright, so I just did that. So I'm going to save. And I'm also going to add an image over here. So I'm just going to type in image. And this is actually a new feature before and after. So that's cool. I haven't really used that feature that much with Avada. So that would be cool that's incorporated now. That works good for doctor websites and dentist websites, before and after teeth. They usually have a lot of pictures of before and after, so that would be pretty cool, and something that may incorporate in a future dentist site that I'm doing for another course. So let's see here. I'm just going to upload the image. Let's do this one. Alright, And you notice when I insert, I was just getting ready to hit the insert to page button. But if you look at the size here, it says 300 by 300. If you look at the image, it's 500 by 500. Make sure you switch this to full size 500 by 500 or whatever size your image is. Alright, and then if I want any special effects to it, really, if I want to zoom, I don't really want any of that stuff. The border radius, border size, we can go, I think I might do 5 pixels on the border size. I might go with the, alright, it's going to be square. Alright, and I'm going to center the image there. Alright, image alt text. It's good to put this stuff in. Again, I'm not trying too hard with this thing, just because it is a mock website, but you know, you want to put stuff like this in. Alright, oh yeah, I should mention one of the cool things about Avada is that the Fusion Builder, they have this element visibility. So say you only want this image to show up on the large screen. So if you have any extra CSS class or a CSS ID, you can throw it in there. Just hit save, and then make sure you hit update on this page to update the WordPress. And let's refresh. And there you can see what we did. And I don't really like the padding in between the top and the top of the page there, where it says welcome to Dr. Shepard's website there. There's no padding in between there, and we got to fix that real fast. So let's go to the back and fix it. If you click the settings container and then you go to design and padding, that's where you can put some padding in there, or some margin in there, whatever you want to put some spacing there. So you know, I usually do something like 16 or 32, or you know, something that looks aesthetically pleasing, and I'll just go with like 30. So update, and then you want to go and refresh your page, and there you go. As you can see, it added padding to the top there, and that looks pretty good. So we will stick with that. And then, you know what, I want to add a title, like a name to this, so it stands out a little bit more. So let's go into here, into the elements, and you could do a title this way if you wanted. There's a number of different ways you can do it. But one thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to do text and a separator, basically. So if I just go here and just search text, and there's text block, I'm just going to enter his name. I don't, only one column. Alright, Dr. David Shepard, sounds like a good name. And I'm just going to put it on H1 tags. Or, well, let's go H2, because H1's a little bit big. And actually, we're going to go to the back and stylize these in just a second. So let's see what we got here. Save it in there, move it up, and then let's go to another element and search separator. And it's basically will just give us a line. And we'll just do single border solid and design, and the color is going to be that blue color, and margin, no, we'll do 3. Alright, and for the margin, do 10 and 10, and we'll see where this lands us at. The spacing may be off a little bit of the line, so then we'll come back in and see what we can do with line height and stuff like that in regards to text. Alright, separator width, let's do like 50%. And then the alignment, I always go center, or at least I usually go center. There's sometimes you do left or right, depending on you know, if your text is aligned left or right. Alright, let's go save and then push it up. Update the page. Refresh. And there it is, and the spacing is way off right there, so that's going to have to do with the line height for the text. So if we go back into Avada, yeah, we're going to have to do the same thing. If we go back into Avada and change the margin, the margin top and bottom, and save, that's for H2, remember, because H1 we already did previously when we did the first title in the blue there. Alright, so that looks a lot better. Still a little bit tight. I would like to get a little bit more spacing there. So we're just going to go back in here and edit this real fast. Design, and then Alright, let's see what this did. 1616 update. Alright, that looks good right there. Yeah, that looks better than it was when it was tighter. Alright, so one of the things I want to do now is do like a button that says like meet the team or meet the doctor or learn more, something like that. So let's go in here and so just go to element and then I search for button. Alright, now then, so for the button, we're just going to link that up with our other page, which is about. So we're just going to copy link address there and then paste it right in there. Button text. Learn more about Dr. Shepard. About button, whatever you want to name it. Or actually be more about Dr. Shepard. That's what we. Alright, you can set if you wanted to open up a new page or not. Of course, I wouldn't recommend that on this link. Additional attribute, you can read the description here if you want no follows. Whether you want the text line, I always go center if it's an anchor, the visibility, everything else, and the design. So now I recommend that you stay with a default and you go to save and you go to update. And then what I recommend you do is go back to theme options. I'm just going to refresh this page. If you're working in between tabs on pages, you want to make sure that you don't revert back to a previous setting. So if you have two theme options open, two tabs of theme options, and one you're making changes and the other one you're not, and then you go to another tab to view the site, you come back to the theme options tab and you start making changes, and then you update it and you go back to your page to look and see the options, and it kind of is reverted back to what it previously was in a stage. Well, that's probably because you went to the wrong theme options tab and updated that. So you always want to make sure you're working when you refresh a page and you refresh your theme options page, that you're on the same page. So that's something just to keep in mind, because it's something that I've done before when working fast. But the reason why we updated it on default style here is because we want to go to the back end of the Fusion Builder here, and you want to go down. And this is one of the cool features of Avada, and this is one of the reasons I love Avada so much, is that I can just go down here and go to the Avada styles, pick up where the buttons are, Fusion Builder Elements. Alright, and if you go to Fusion Builder Elements and you go to Button Element, okay, this is where you can modify the button just to whatever the default stage is, because when you're branding something, you want to use the theme colors and everything to that extent. So I would go down here and I would just choose whatever I want. I'm just going with Open Sans again just because this is an example and just a basic font there. So now then, actually if I go to my website and hit refresh, because I saved that page, it'll show the green button. Okay, see how small it is? And then if I roll over, it kind of gives a darker green color. So what I would do is just this. I'm just going to go to color back. And saying the top color and the bottom color, you can gradient it if you want. And then saying the hover color. So I just do the same color. And actually what I do is I just do this. So make it a little bit lighter. And that'll be the rollover color. And then the accent color and the accent hover color are both white, so that's like the text color. And if you want if you're doing a 3D mode, you can do that color. If you want any border on it, you can do it right here. So if you want to border around it, no, this is all really I want, but I do like the extra large button as the default. I'm going to save, refresh. So this should be a blue and a little bit bigger. There it goes. And there's the drop up. or the rollover there. Now you could align this right if you wanted. You could align this right if you wanted to. I just like the centered, so it's whatever you prefer. But that's basic. You could change the background color if you wanted. You could change the texture there, and if you want to do that, you just go to your container here. You click the brush. You get a background, and you can select the color background you want. So if you maybe want a little bit of a off-white, and you notice right here it's on clear. Okay, this number right here, nothing will change. Okay, until you do this. Okay, you see your color right here, it's on clear, so it sees nothing, it's invisible. Put your opacity all the way up, and you can change that color. Just do that little off gray there. Just go to save, update. Alright, and that color just changed. We have that section, and I should say, like, you can do other things with the background image. Thing is though, those just need to be sized properly, and I'm just not going to go over those things right now because it takes a little bit more of explaining, and it takes a little bit more time to do those things. But there's a number of different options that you can use for the background here, and making sure that it looks right. So now we're going to go to our next container. Alright, so let's just open up the container. I'm just going to do 1.1. Alright, so we got our container here, and what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to do an image. Alright, and then I'm just going to upload an image, and we can just pretend that this is going to be a service here. So let's do this. Alright, and again, I'm checking to make sure it's on full size. You can change all this stuff too. Remember, all the titles, SEO friendly, everything like that. But again, this is just for example purposes. Place it in there, and I'm not going to do anything special to. Actually, you know what I might do? I might do border for 5 pixels, and then let's make it the same color. Just extremely basic. No design really to it. Align it center. The image, border radius none. Alright, you can do all other stuff there. Now you would link it to wherever you want it to link to. So in this case, I'll just do this. I'll do to about. Alright, paste that there. Alright, and now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do button. Alright, I'm going to do the button URL is going to be the same place. It's going to be the team. Alright. Alright, center that, save. And I'm going to put just a little bit of space in between these. Let me just do this. Just put in a little bit of space in between here, and actually no border. There's one there. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go back, and now that I'm thinking about it, I need a section kind of in between to break these up. So I'm just going to do this. Okay, go to quarter, and then we're just going to go to button span, and we're going to go to yes. Okay, button span means you want to span the full length of the container. Okay, everything else is going to stay the same. Save, and what we're going to do is we're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and do we need some space? Yeah, we need just a little bit of space right there. So we're just going to go here and go to design. And then we're just going to go to a margin of 16. Alright, and then we're just going to change this from that to our services. And you gotta change the link on here too. Oh, I just copied that one by accident. Actually, no, I gotta change this. All right, and then just come in here and change this. Let's call it news. I don't really like going that short. When the stuff's a little bit longer than that. And then what's the third one? Let's go contact. Okay, and then actually do this one. All right, and then you link. There we go. Okay. Now this is a little bit off here because I would like to have those lined up a little better, but I'm not really gonna complain about it right now because I'm just gonna do. I want to put another gallery. Actually, I might move this up. I want to move this container up, and then I'm gonna move this container down, and I'm gonna put a carousel in there. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And for some reason, this page is taking longer to load. So what and actually, I'm gonna change this color back to the white. All right, and this is what's so cool about Avada. Now watch this. I'm gonna do container. Image carousel. I got a bulk image upload, and what I'm gonna do is just this. Alright, so let's upload all these images here. And these are all the same size, okay? Keep this in mind. All the same size. You have to edit your images and make them all the same size in order for it to look aesthetically pleasing. Keep that in mind. Okay, so now I'm just gonna take off this one and yeah, and this one because that's kind of repetition, and this one. And I don't really want the heads in there. Just make, and this one's kind of dark. Let's do this one for consistency. Okay. Alright, picture size is fixed, okay, and maximum columns 5, spacing, let's make this an even 10. Alright, scroll items, okay, alright, let's see what it looks like. Save, update. Alright, there it is right there. So now we gotta work on something because it doesn't look that great. Alright, let's see what we did. First off, okay, we got the page template at 100% width, okay. We want to do this container setting, interior content width, 100% width, 100% height. No. Okay. So once we do that, alright. So now, as you can see, there's space in between them, and they're kind of spread out. We have to change that. But let's go here and just hit edit, and picture size auto. There, adjusted the image. That's probably the detail there that I was missing. Boom, perfect right there. All right. So now what I want to do is I want to take this page. I want to make that background blue on that carousel page. So let's do this and design. Actually, border color. Clipboard. All right. Then we'll go to design, and I might have to change the padding or the margin depending on what we see right here. Alright, definitely got to change this right here. So I think I have to go back into padding. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add another 40 pixels to the top of it. You know, I actually like a little bit of padding like that. Alright. Alright, let's go on to the next one. And actually, if you look here, there's only 5 images. So if I do some more images here, actually, let's just do these. So just so then there's the carousel. And now what I want to do is I want to reposition this because to make it look a lot better. What I want to do is I'm just going to take these containers and move them around. Move this one above this one. Update. All right. And it is a little bit crowded here, so what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to go in here. And actually, what I could do is, I think what I'm going to do is this: put these services, the doctor, switch spots. There, that looks a lot better. So it's a lot about having the elements and then kind of using those as puzzle pieces to do things. So one of the cool things about this Fusion builder as well is that you can save this column, this container here. So let's put like a what is this? I guess we call it services container homepage, and then save it, and then you can go to a new page and then load a container there. So that's what's cool about this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna add space to this because it needs some space really. So I'm just gonna go to see what. Let's do 5%, 5%. So that's a little bit much. Probably go back down to 3. All right, let's go back down to. All right, that looks a lot better. We'll do the same thing on his buy array here. All right, so now that we have that, let's go in here and do this to this container here. All right, update that. All right, and maybe that might look better left align, but I'm not gonna do that right now. Let's go to the next section, which should be, you know, could be a number of different things. Could be the new patient special, could be a news section, a contact section. We can actually just put the contact section on the bottom of here if we wanted to. Let's just do this container. Let's do a couple buttons. Let's do. And then this will just be the contact page. Alright, and this goes to that. Alright, center. Save. And then actually what I'm going to do is do this. I'm going to do take out this. Let's go schedule appointment. And I'm going to do this element. And then I'm going to do nested columns. And I'm going to do half and half. And then what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to do Save, do schedule appointment button. All right, I'm gonna do save, Dr. Shepherd button. All right, and what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna go to edit, element, library elements. All right, add that one. I'm gonna go to library elements and add this one. And I'm gonna do half and half. Yeah, let's see how that looks. Okay, and then what I'll do is I'll just do trash and trash, update. We may have to make the Dr. Shepherd button a little bit bigger. Okay, now that looks fine right there. Okay. Now something else I'm gonna do that's cool. See how this is a little bit off right here? It doesn't look center. I'm gonna go back to the edit page. Okay, and I'm going to go to this container setting and then 100% height. Nope. Set columns to equal height. Yes. Okay. Go save. And then I go right here to this button and I go to center content. Say yes to center the content vertically. Equal heights on the parent container must be turned on. Yes. Save. And then I go to update. And go to refresh. And there, it's centered correctly now. All right. So now I could add other elements, but I think we're going to start working on the footer. Hey, Mike Shamon here, and I just wanted to cut into the video and say thanks for hanging on this long for the video, and also don't forget to download the digital guide, the link's below, and I just want to cut in and say thanks a lot for checking out and making this far through. But go ahead and get that digital guide. It'll help you start making these websites quickly. Hey, one more thing, don't forget to subscribe. That really helps me out if you guys subscribe to the video. It'd be a big thank you. I need to work on getting my subscribers up, so a big thank you if you subscribe to the video and like the video as well. That will really help me out, and the more you guys do that, the more tutorials I can bring to you. Alright, so we're going to start working on the footer, and actually, you know what I'm going to do? I think I'm going to add like a little call to action. Even though I got schedule appointment right here, I'm just going to do a request an appointment bar with a button here, and then that will lead into the footer. Although it might have to be a different color though. We'll see. Let's see what it looks like. So let's go back to edit page. This container right here that we already have, that's blue. Okay, welcome to... You already know that's cool. What we're going to do is we're just going to save this container as a welcome container. Alright, and I'm just going to make a copy of it right here and then bring it down. Alright, and we are going to go to the text tab. That way you can see it. Remember, it's white. And if you really want to be a better coder, code this into a CSS style and put it in there. That's a little bit more advanced. But let's just do request and appointment now. Let's go save. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to element and I'm just going to add a button in here. And then the button's just going to go to contact. And it's going to be request appointment. Center the text on the button. Okay. And now I'm going to go to clone this container. Just do this. So that out. And we're going to make this a little bit smaller. Go 1/3. Actually, we'll go this one 1/3 and this one 2/3. And now, what's going to happen is, since this is a blue background here, this button's also blue, so it's going to be offset. So what we're going to do is edit this one to go to design. And this is where you want to edit this type of button, because you don't want to edit in the other theme options, because that's the global button. So this is an off button that you don't usually have. And what's cool is you can save this button and have it for that. So we're just going to go to custom, and then we're just going to make this white. Alright, white. Alright. And then the rollover is still in the same color. The accent color, however, is going to be the blue color. Alright, we're going to go save. And then we're just going to go to update. And refresh. Alright, there it is. And as you can see, the button is all the way up there, which we don't want. So we have to do something about that. What can we do? Well, we'll do this. 100% height, nope. Set columns to equal height, yes. Save. Edit this one and go to center content vertically, yes. And let's see if this does it. Update the site, refresh your page. Alright. It didn't do it that well because it's not centered with this. Let's see if this other setting makes a difference. So go to this one and go to center content, yes, and go to save and go to update. There. That made the difference, okay? So each column had to be set to equal heights. And there is the button. And now, what section should we put underneath here? We can go to the footer, or we can go to a different section, another section. I think we're just going to go to the footer right now. Alright, now I'm going to go to the footer content. How many columns do we want to have? We can decide. I'm going to go with 3 columns. It's not that big of a website. 3 columns seems like it should be alright. If you want the footers on or off, you can turn them on or off there. If you want the center content, or the content to be centered, you can do that. No special effects. Sticky footer is mainly for if you don't have enough information on a page and the footer creeps up to the top. Let me show you an example. If I go to about, wow, and all of a sudden this got all big somehow. I think actually because I don't know what I did, but I'll check that out. But you see how the footer is up here with about. If you go here and you got a sticky footer, and you go to refresh, you see how the footer is down here now? That's what sticky footer is. I don't know why all of a sudden the logo got super huge and it went back to normal size there, but there we go. Alright, so let me work on this footer. Copyright bar on, and do you want it centered or not? There. Okay, let's go to styling. Alright, footer width 100%. I'm just going to turn that on to match the rest of the site. Footer padding. I really don't like a lot of footer padding, so I'm just going to go 20 and 20. And then you can change the background color of the footer. I think we're going to go with this this color. Alright, and then the border size. I usually like to do around 1, but I think we're going to do about, actually I think I'm going to do about 5. Alright, widget divider color. I'm just going to keep that the way it is for right now. Copyright padding, I'm just going to go 10 and 10. Copyright background color, keep it the way it is right now. And actually, you know, I'm going to change it. I'm going to go to this color, and I'm going to just go a little bit darker, maybe. There. Border color is white. Border size of 1. I want open sans again. Remember, that's just basic. I'm not doing any special design stuff. Headers typography, headings for 8K. Font color. Font color is going to have to be white. The link color is going to be white. Link cover color is just going to be white. Copyright text color is all the same. Link color, okay. Alright, so all that stuff's right. Let's go to save. Now refresh. Alright, there it is. I don't like that I don't like this big button thing right here. I'm gonna switch the copyright color to back because this is just alright. So I'll have to go in here and change the padding on the bottom of this. Of course, now I think. Alright, so that's changed. Let's go. I just want to do this a little bit more for the copyright 5 pixels. Alright. Okay, that looks cool. And if you look down here, these social headers, the bottom social things, we can fix those right now. Just go to social media, footer social, icons. You can, whatever size you want them to be. And then we'll go to white color. And then we'll go to OK and save. Alright, those will update in a second. Let's get our footer. Now to add stuff to the footer, we're just going to go to appearance widgets. Alright, and here's our sections right here, footer 1, 2, and 3. So of course if you had 4, it'd say footer widget 4 there, it'd be 4 things there. I'm just going to go to footer widget 1 and do a text box. Okay, and this is just going to be like office hours. It's going to be like Monday through Friday. 9 a.m., 5 p.m. Alright, and then underneath it's just going to be some, it's like a, so I got my text. Some of these doctor websites have just like little warnings down here at the bottom. Just to go along with like a patient cancellation, stuff like that. And then what we're going to do here is we are going to get another text tab. Okay, and then we're going to go to title. This one's going to be like location. Okay, and it's going to be like whatever the location is. Now this guy's a Florida doctor, probably. That's what. I actually did a website for Dr. Sunshine before. Alright, so there's the location. And then what you also want to have is you want to have like a map here. So let's go in here and just share, embed map. Click that, copy that, and just put in here. Okay, so I copied HTML inside the visual tab, and it needed to be copied inside the text tab. So there's that, and then the width is going to be, we're just going to go 250 by 250. So if you look at the width and height, we're just going to go square. Actually, the width we'll do 300. The height we'll do is 250. Okay, save that. Alright, and then the third section, I think we're just going to have that as like social media links, maybe. Social links right here. Okay, and then you can choose whichever ones you want. And then save that. And then you can also go into options if you want. And then that's going to be kind of thin section there. So we could do something else like a logo of some sort of like important logo. Let's go refresh the page now. So there it is. But you know what? I realized we don't want the footer on 100% width. So let's just go back to Avada theme options. Footer. Color styling off. Refresh. There we go. And this is killing me. I gotta figure out what this is because this doesn't look right here. Maybe the padding on the bottom. Yeah, what is that? Oh, Fusion row. Really? It's this right here. Alright, update that. And I'm not working hard on the color scheme here, guys. I'm just doing everything blue or whatever just to make it a little bit different somewhat. But you see what the blue is there. Actually, these are two different color blues. I didn't even realize it. I must have copied the wrong color. But yeah, you see how it goes here, okay? So we got a pretty cool little website going on here. That looks good for the home page. Alright, let's move on to the other pages. So now that we have basically our home page done, we got our slider there, we have our services basically, we have our carousel of images and our services, we have our doctor short bio here, we have our call to action. So there's a couple things that, and all these elements can be switched out and replaced and everything like that. So let's move on to the about page, okay? And this is just going to be we'll just do a bio of the doctor. But as you can see, it has this bar still about, and still has the default kind of background there to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch that up. So if you go to theme options and you go to your page title bar, alright, you can choose to be on or off. I still want it to be on. I just don't want it to be designed this way. And again, for some odd reason, this is my browser messing up. This is something has to do with me being logged in and doing this there. So okay, for some reason I just refresh the page and there it goes. Anyways, let's do this about section, and I'm gonna change the height to about I'll do 40. Okay, that's what I usually like to do, and I do about 10 pixels less on mobile. Alright, and then you can choose if you want it to be 100% width, which I do, and then you can choose the background color of it. I want it to be white, and then the border color, that's well, light gray is fine. The size, the color, okay. Subheader, I'm not worried about that. We want left align. I'm gonna remove this image. You can put an image there if you want. I'm just gonna go with the color. And you can, it has all these other options if you want it to be, if it's an image or if it's a parallax or if it's fading animation. Anyways, we'll just go with this, go to save and refresh. Alright, and actually look, it has my thing on big again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch this out from, I'm going to do blue and I'm going to do white text. So I'm just going to go back to theme options. I'll get my blue somewhere here. The blues became mixed up, so I'm just going to do those, do copy. Alright, and background color, do that, and then the font color, change that to white. Save changes, refresh. Alright, and actually I guess I had to get this blue. Alright. There. And then also, if you notice right here, you can't really see, but there's breadcrumbs there. You can choose those to be on or off. I'm going to choose those to be off. I'm going to save changes. On the color, go back to breadcrumbs, go to none. But there are all sorts of options here. Go to save options. Alright, so the color should be changed and the breadcrumbs should be off. Alright. Now then, let's just do our content there. So, if we go to pages, all pages, and we go to edit the about page. And I'm just going to grab some fake text, which could be a doctor bio. Alright, I'm just going to use Fusion Builder, add a container, 1.1. Just going to start off real fast here with text. Alright, I'm just going to reply it on the visual side. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to take some of this, separate it, and let's just say he's an important guy, so he has a quote in there, of course. Go here to the block quote, and go to save. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a new element, and it's going to be an image. Alright, and then I'm just going to upload his image. Alright, this guy. Okay, it's going to be the same thing, the same border size. And what I could have done really is to save time, I could have copied that I could have saved that container of that image. And then just load that up when I need an image because it has all the settings I need. So I'm just going to save. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this 2/3, clone, erase one of these, and make this one 1/3 so they fit together. Move these over. I'm going to go clone that, and then what I'm going to just do a separator. No style, design, doesn't matter the color because there's no color. It's going to be 32 space. Alright, I'm just going to go to update and refresh. Alright, cool. And now I'm just going to add spacing to this. Actually 32 for the top one, I think I'll do. Alright, and then that's the doctor's bio right there. You can put team members underneath here if you wanted, but just for the short example, it's going to be doctor. Okay, and actually, come on, this thing's taking a long time to load right now. Alright, and actually I'll do this, upload, do this one. Alright, so now then we can go to the services tab. And now that we're in the services tab, we just go to edit page. Actually, you know what, one thing I want to do on this doctor page actually is I actually want to add his name. This is just going to be in an H2. Alright, so update that page. Okay, now onto our services page. We're going to go to use Fusion Builder, container. And guys, I'm not doing anything special on here. There's no like special effects, just a simple basic, hey, you need to pump a website out, let's get a website out. So now then there's services. Let's use all these and insert on the text layer. Go. Okay, so let's just see here. Like teeth clean. Alright, so then you just name, this is something, and you can get more advanced with borders and everything, some similar like we did the on the home page there. Okay, and then I'm just going to do the opposite of what I did on the other page there. And actually I'm just going to do a new container. I'll do this. Again, I'm just going to go element, just type in image. And there's so many elements that you can use, guys. Again, just whatever you want to do. But I'm just going to go to image, upload image. And then maybe this is like a picture of, you know, this is like the staff or them performing a service. And then I'm just going to do this, make this 2/3, and this 1/3, and pull this up here. And then we can do the same thing, separator. And then clone that. And then depending on how long your services are, you could do another one. And then update. Oh, we probably need to add padding to the top. Yep, there it goes. Alright. Let's go here. Let's go, what was it, 32? Alright, so there it is. There's the services page. Picture of services, and this can continue on. Alright, let's go to the next page. So the next page is contact. So I'm just going to go on the contact page. And I'm just going to close out that other page I had open there. Go to edit page. Alright, I'm using the Fusion Builder. I'm just going to do an easy contact page, nothing too complex. It's going to be half and half. The first half is going to be information about the business. It's going to be Dr. Shepard, and then it's going to be the address, and then it's going to be the phone number, alright, and then I'd probably do this bold, and then what I would do is I would just do like office hours, or Dr. Shepard phone number, and then that, and then maybe like office hours. Basically everything that you find in the footer, I would just do right here. Office hours. Alright. And then what I would do is I would go save. And now I'm using the gravity forms. So I'm just going to go, oh, you know what? I totally just lost everything I just did right there. So I'll have to go back and do it. Let me just go to add new. And let me just go to contact form. And gravity forms is great if you guys haven't used gravity forms before. But I'll also make it easy. Go to name, email, and what they want to say. And then let's do those. Oh, message. We'll do phone number 2. Message. And do phone number. Make this a little large. Okay, update form. Let's go back to contact and go to edit page. That's that element. Go to text. I'm going to go to add gravity form, my contact form. Alright. Just always like to center that text that I have there. Save, and then right here, what I actually want to do is I just want to go to, I want to save or update that page. I'm going to go back to theme options. I'm going to go to appearance and widgets. I'm just going to go to the footer widget 2 that has the location map. Okay, I'm just copy that. Come back here. Add this element in this text. And you can do this Google map. There's actually a Google map element here, I believe. Yeah, that you can do, and it'll pop the address up in there. Actually, but with the layout that we're doing, it might be a little bit different. Alright, so we've updated. Now let's see what it says. There it goes, and that's where the map's supposed to be. You just got to put in the correct address there. This needs to be larger though, the email, so I'm just going to go here. And go to appearance and go to large. So there's the contact page, although I gotta put some spacing up here, so I'm just gonna go here and go 32. Update, and then I'll give me some space. And there we go. Alright, now let's go ahead and move to the news tab, and the news tab is going to be like the blog. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're actually going to go here. We should just go to post, all post. There's the default post, which I'm going to trash. So I'm going to go to add new. And so I'll say post 1. New post 1. Now here is where things can be different. You can just do a regular blog post like you usually do, or you can use the Fusion Builder if you want to make it like a special type of blog post if you want to get fancy with it. I'm just going to keep it as a regular post, and then you can add a featured image here. It's probably way too big for that, I believe, but alright, and then you can have options here of if you want to display featured images or not. I'm just going to go to, what I'm going to do is put some text in here, paste it, update, and I'm going to add another post. I'm actually going to add another 2 posts, and then alright, and publish all of these. Yep. Alright, let's see. There's this little error right there. I think I hit those buttons at the same time too much, so there we go. Let's go to edit. Oh, you know what? I didn't fit featured images in for these 2 anyways. So I'm going to do that. Set featured image and update. And then you want to make sure that all your featured images that you have on your post are the same size. That way they look they look good. So now that we got all of our posts, we can go ahead and view the news page, and this is what the news page looks like. Actually, that's what the post looks like. Let's go to the news page. So you can see it has all of our posts right here, and it has these rollovers on them. It doesn't look the way we want it to look. So what we're going to do is we're just going to do this. We're going to go edit page, and it says you're currently editing the page. It shows your latest post. That's fine. So we can go use Fusion Builder. Actually, we might have to go to appearance or settings, reading, and then when you hit the drop down for post and just hit select, just hit save. Okay, and then we're just going to go back to pages, and then just go to edit the news page. Alright, so now we're on the news page. We're just going to go to use Fusion Builder, add a container, pick container, and you just go to add element. You can go to blog. Okay, and then it tells you what kind of layout you want. You can view demos of all these layouts on the Avada theme website. They have all these different ones you can choose from. But I'm just going to do large, post per page, just do 3. Post offset and then post by category. So if you have different categories, you can do this section by categories only or exclude categories. You can order by a bunch of different things. Lots of different options here. I'm just going to go to save, just hit update. Alright, yeah, so this one looks the same. And now, if we go here, and let's go to grid. I like grid better, but it should be a grid. And we will see. There we go. So those are all the posts right there. And we'll have to do the same thing for this page and set the top padding. So the padding up here, design 32. We can figure all these out. All this, you know, if you want all this stuff on there, you can take that on or off in the preview section that we showed you. One of the things that I might want to do though is just add this section to the home page too. So I'm just going to update this blog page. So we'll have a little bit of space up top. And those images, these are the placeholder images. Since they're long and narrow, this is why they look long and narrow on this page. But if you have 500 by 500 square images, they would look like that. So I just go save, do save container. I'm just going to put blog, our new section. Save container. Alright, and one thing I want to do is edit these rollover buttons. See that? Let's make those the right colors. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go to Avada theme options. If you go down to the bottom here, there's extra, and there's a featured image rollover. Alright, and right here is where you can change the color. So what I do is just copy this to clipboard. You can see it's a little bit transparent too, so I'm just going to go there. And this one's just the regular color there, and the rollover, do white. Alright, let's refresh. Alright, and change those colors. Maybe I'll change them back to black, because then I gotta change all the other stuff with it. So I'm just gonna go back to black. Okay, wait a minute. Element color and icon color. Let's go. Icon color is going to be white. And this is going to be the darker blue, actually. There. So let's refresh. And there. Let's change that text back. Let's change one of these to white. This is some of the stuff you got to do. This is going to be white, and then this is going to be the blue. There. There, that should do it. Bam, that's what we're looking for. And this just goes to the post. Okay. And you can change this post layout here. So it's theme options and blog. Okay. And this is how you can change some of the stuff, like the blog layout, like on this blog single post. That's what we need to be on. If you want it to be 100% page width, if you want the featured image on there, if you want the previous next, if you want the post title. So you see it's right there, which is if you want above or below the featured image. If you want your other metadata on there. And this is just the general blog. You would use this on the blog page without the Fusion Builder. So this is if you're not using Fusion Builder. If you're using the Fusion Builder, you do all this stuff on the inside of it. Okay, and then other elements for blog single post are in here. Alright, now if I wanted to add that section to the home page, I just go to Home, to Edit Page. Now I scroll down, just go Container, Special. Alright, Library Container, there it was the whole time. Update. So now, look at that. That is a nice looking website right there. And one thing we gotta change is on the sticky header. The sticky header. When I scroll, see that? So I just go Theme Options menu. Header, sticky header. I usually turn my sticky headers off, but if you want to do that, you want to make sure that your font size is the same and that your padding is the same, and that'll pretty much do it. But I'm just gonna turn that off for right now, because it's really just the font size, and it'd be the same thing. But I'm just not a fan of the sticky header sometimes. But that's pretty much it. The home page, the about page. Look at that. I don't like that space in there, so I'm just going to go back in there and edit that. We never did refresh the page after I made that change. This is just something that I would just do this. Just go. That's fine. There we go. Alright, and then there's other details on these pages that, like, I would really want to center this out again, but I've already done that. So you know, and I would probably take more time to edit this to where it's a little bit less space and it's more even. However, I just want to get through this this section because we don't really need to know how to do that at this point in time. But this is just taking a look at how our turns out, and you know, I would add a background texture and, you know, other elements to this as well to make it a really clean professional site. But this is just a quick tutorial here on how to make a really nice site with Avada here. So yeah, take a look at it. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Please subscribe to the channel for more tutorials. Alright, so I actually got my images, and now I'm going to place them in place. And again, these are just mock images, there's nothing special to these. Alright, and I just made them actually 1900 by 800, so I think I'm going to have to trim this slider down by 100 pixels. And it'll actually look better that way, I think, too. So put this family on first. Alright, we'll go save that. And then we'll go back to slider settings. Alright. And let's just go here at 800. And if we go back and actually I want to add another slide too. So I'm going to go duplicate. And I'm just going to click here. Put this family in place there. Then you can also do buttons and stuff with the slider resolution. You can do buttons, but I'm just not doing that for this example. Okay, so we got that. So we're gonna have that, and then we gotta do these. It's in there. Save. All right. and the carousel. So take him off the carousel. And we'll update that. And we'll see how this looks. Alright. So it looks pretty good. The services, the carousel. Alright, now we can go to our post. Let me just go here to post. I'll post. And then we'll just go edit. Edit. And then we'll go to, say he did an article on fitness. Right on the little girl. See on this couple. Update that. Alright, so then those will update in just a second. Let's go to our about page. And then we'll go to edit. And remember, I already edited these pictures to be the correct size. So they are. Alright, so we just edited those images. Now we'll set this image for services. Edit page. Alright, so these were good for the services here. Alright. So those are updated. So now let's kind of see what it looks like with a full makeup, a full set of images on here. Okay, good. Got the rollover there. Got the carousel, Dr. Shepard there. There's our news for our images right there. And let's go to our about page, see what the doctor's doing there. Dr. David Shepard, oh look at that. Looks great. Alright, our services tab. There he is. He's a combination of a doctor and a dentist, it looks like. Our news tab. See, it looks the same as the other one. We just got a contact here. Alright, dude. So that's how you do the basic website with Avada. It's an easy basic website to create. Avada uses a great Fusion builder. And it's a really great theme, and you can see why, because you can do stuff like this in a matter of hours. So take a look. There's a link down below to Avada. Just click that link. That is an affiliate link of mine. I will get a small kickback if you choose to purchase the theme through that link. There's also other links down there of other WordPress tutorials that I have, so go ahead and check those out. Thanks for watching, and be on the lookout for a course coming in the near future. Hey, I want to say thanks for making it all the way to the end of the video. Don't forget to download my free digital guide. The link's below. Just enter an email in and I'll get you this quick guide on how to make WordPress websites quickly. 3 tips I use every single day and implement those every single day. And since you made it to the end of the video, I'll tell you that I used these tips in the video that we made. I maybe didn't point them out exactly to where you might know where they are, but I use these tips in the video. I use the stuff I'm giving you for free, and I want to help you out and help you build your WordPress portfolio and make sites quickly, and you can get a bunch of clients doing that stuff. So thanks for watching the video, and I will see you on the next video, whenever that may be. All right, have a good one.